So here we're going to have a little demo of adding Lidar data to LP360. I have set up a folder for my demo that just contains all the LAS files, the 99 LAS files, and a background orthophoto image that will be useful to help us understand where we are in the world and what's out there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, so I know where my data is, I'm going to make sure I have the LP360 extension turned on in ARC. And then I need to display an LP360 toolbar. I'm going to just use the basic toolbar. And notice I have it come up undocked, or I can move it around. And I also have it extended all the way out as long as it can be. It is quite a long toolbar, and notice if you dock it and you happen to make it, you don't have enough space, your window is kind of narrow, you're not going to see the entire toolbar. There are going to be things that are off the end of the screen. And that's confusing for people, especially because this stored filter command down here we're going to use a lot, and people get confused if they can't find it. So either you're going to have your ARC window wide enough to display the whole toolbar if you have it docked, or you might just use it undocked. And I'll leave it, I'm going to put it up here for now. Okay, so I'm going to start out by setting the coordinate system for the project to what I've been told in the metadata, which is Tennessee State Plain. It's 1983, the 2001 adjustment, U.S. survey feet. Okay. So now I've got my map frame in that coordinate system, and now I'm going to add my LAS data. To add the LAS data, I'm going to use the LP360 toolbar, Add Data button. Notice I can shrink or expand the number of columns that are shown. And the first time I'm going to add a single file just so I can show you how the options work. So I'm going to navigate to the folder that contains my LAS files, and I'm just going to add one. Notice it's validated. It's got a green check mark. I can see some of the information about it. I'm going to open it read only. I'm going to have it go ahead and load all the point files right away, and I'm going to leave the option for pyramiding unchecked at this moment just to show you how this can work. So I'll say OK. It's bringing the LAS layer into LP360 within ArcMap. Notice in the ArcMap table of contents I see a layer. The default name has been assigned layer 1, LAS layer 1. And it's just a single layer. If I click on the LAS files tab in the table of contents, notice I see the name of the layer, and I would see here the list of all the individual file names that were in that layer. So I only have one at this time. The name there is listed there. Notice these icons. We're going to talk about these one at a time. First, the red pyramid icon that is indicating that this file has not been pyramided. In other words, we can make subsampled versions or smaller versions that will help speed up display. And I did not choose to do that when I loaded the file, but I can do it now after the fact. And I can simply right-click on the file name in the LAS files table of contents and say pyramid file, and there it goes. And now the pyramiding icon turns black. Okay, now I'm going to want to add all of the 99 LAS files to show you how to do that. So I'm going to remove this layer from my ArcMap project and start over. I'm going to click on the Add Lidar Layer button again. I'm going to add an entire folder of files this time. I'm going to navigate to that location. And now notice I have 99 files. I can scroll down here and see that they're all validated. Okay, those are all going to get loaded into a single layer. And this time I'm going to check the pyramid box, so that the pyramid options, so that all that processing gets done as I load the files. Now this is going to take some time, probably maybe 5 or 6 minutes. But once you've done this, you'll never have to do it again once the pyramided files are created. So I'm just going to hit OK, and we'll wait a few minutes. Alright, well that took maybe 5 or 6 minutes, and now all the LAS files are loaded into the ArcMap project. Again, they're displayed here with an elevation legend in the ArcGIS table of contents, but if I go again to the LAS Files tab, I can see all of the 99 files individually listed. Notice they all have black pyramid icons, indicating that all that batch processing was done. If you take a look at your folder in the Windows Explorer view at this point, you'll see here's my LAS files directory, and now I have 198 files. And each one of the LAS files has an accompanying file with a .qvr extension. And you'll see that is the LAS pyramiding file created by the QCoherent software. Once you have those files stored with your LAS files, then you have a permanent copy of the pyramiding file, and you don't have to repeat that process. The last thing I'm going to do in this demo is bring in a background orthophoto image to give some context to the Lidar data. So I'm going to go back to ArcMap and to the normal ArcGIS table of contents, and I'm going to use the Add Data button to go to the folder that contains the single orthophoto image. It's in Mr. Sid compressed format, and I'm going to add that. It is in a different coordinate system. It's actually in a UTM coordinate system, so I get a warning from ArcGIS, which I'm going to go ahead and ignore. And then if I zoom to the full extent, you'll see that that orthophoto really does cover quite a large area. It's all of Davidson County, Tennessee. It's much larger than the area of interest for the Lidar data. So we could try to clip this image to reduce its extent, although it's in a compressed proprietary format, which makes clipping it and saving it an undesirable thing to do. So I'm going to show you a little trick that you can use to control the extent of the view in ArcMap, so you don't have to deal with that additional orthophoto image. So first I'm going to choose the extent that I would like to be the full extent by simply zooming. Then I'm going to right click on the layer data frame properties, and I'm going to choose the data frame tab. And notice that there are some options here to control what happens when you use the full extent command, which is the globe on the ArcGIS standard toolbar. So by default, it normally would extend to all of the data in all layers. I'm going to customize that by saying Other and specify the extent to be the current visible extent, which I've pre-selected. Alright, so by doing that, I've now changed what will happen when I click the full extent button. Now, because the ortho is in a different coordinate system than the background data frame, I'm going to keep getting this warning error, which I'm going to continue to just ignore. Alright, so now if I click the full extent button, you can see I do go to that preset extent. Okay, notice that if I zoom out, the rest of the image is still there. I can also just clip that by going back to the full extent, go back to the data frame properties. This time use the clip options and say clip to shape. Specify the shape again to be the current visible extent. Click OK. Ignore these warnings. And now even if you zoom out, you won't see that additional orthophoto. All right, so at this point we've concluded the tutorial for the moment, and we'll go on to continue looking at additional capabilities of LP360.